Leo is a legendary warrior who spends his life saving humanity, only to be treated like an ugly outcast. After the ungrateful humans banish him, Leo decides he's done playing hero. For the ultimate revenge, he marches straight to the demon queen Echidna and asks for a job, with a plan to ever. Before any of this, Leo stands in the middle of a destroyed city. Broken buildings and scattered rubble surround him as rain falls quietly from the sky, and the world feels empty and lifeless. Leo is wearing a combat uniform and holding a sword as he stands alone among the ruins. In the silence created by the rain, a voice speaks to him. The voice tells him not to overexert himself and says that if it ever hurts too much, he can leave at any time. The same voice then asks him to live his life the way he truly wants. Leo turns around calmly and replies that he will do exactly that before walking away. The scene then shifts to Leo traveling through a snowy mountain path while wearing a hooded robe. He walks toward a massive castle that towers over the land. When he reaches the gates, he sees goblin soldiers rebuilding structures that were once destroyed. Seeing this causes Leo to remember the moment when he slaughtered his enemies in this very place. He continues walking upward along the stairs until he reaches a large red door, and after knocking, a female voice from inside allows him to enter. Leo steps into the throne room, where he sees Five, with the demon queen Echidna sitting on the throne. Standing beside her are her 4 elite generals, Edward, Myrns, Lily, and Shutina. Understanding how dangerous his situation is, Leo tries to avoid drawing attention to himself. After all, he is the same man who once destroyed their army. He slowly approaches them, and once he stands before them, he removes his hood, revealing himself as the former hero, Leo Demonheart. The generals react in shock upon realizing that the boy who defeated them is now standing in front of them. Leo explains that he wants them to accept him into their army. He calmly explains the benefits and claims that his help would allow them to rebuild an even stronger force. However, Echidna believes he is mocking her and angrily attacks him. She tells him it is impossible for them to accept him and launches repeated attacks against him. Leo continues trying to reason with her, but she ignores his words and continues firing flames at him. However, the attacks barely affect him. A flashback reveals what happened roughly a year earlier. The demonic army led by Echidna suddenly appeared in the human world. That was when the human king summoned Leo and tasked him with protecting humanity. Leo was a royal knight with overwhelming power, and he had mastered every weapon known to man and was also skilled in sorcery. Compared to him, his companions were useless. Leo eventually left them behind, believing that he could have saved the world multiple times over if he had acted alone. Later, Leo meets privately with the 4 generals. Edward suggests that the queen rejected him because of his personality. Leo argues that this makes no sense because his plan is flawless. Lily is happy to see him and clearly admires him like a brother. Shutina interrupts and tells him to stop wasting time. She warns him that if Echidna discovers this meeting, she will burn the castle down. She explains that they only agreed to meet him because he returned after being expelled and begged on his knees. To convince them, Leo introduces himself again and explains why each of them should rely on him. He describes how he defeated each general in combat. Edward laughs and says it has been a long time since someone defeated him fairly. He enjoys crossing swords with powerful opponents and welcomes the memory. The first opponent Leo recalls is Edward, who was the physically strongest. Edward was a master warrior covered in dragon scales and possessed extreme endurance. Leo admits that he would have lost in a pure sword fight. However, by using magic, he defeated Edward. Afterward, Leo asked why Edward served the Demon Queen despite his strength. Edward replied that he only wanted to live as a swordsman and enjoy battle. Myrns then tells Leo that he feels sorry for him for traveling alone. A flashback shows how Leo defeated Myrns. Myrns was a half-demon assassin with incredible speed. He attacked Leo from all directions, but Leo endured the attacks and destroyed part of the church with magic, causing rubble to crush Myrns. The villagers were furious since the site was protected, and Leo left without paying. When Myrns points out Leo's selfishness, Leo covers his ears and pretends not to hear, and Lily copies him, trying to gain his approval like a younger sister. Another flashback shows how Leo first met Lily. He took shelter from the rain under a tree and found her there. She apparently had amnesia and had nowhere to go, so Leo offered to look after her for a few days. Later, she regained her memory, recognized him as the hero who fought against the demons and attacked him, but got badly defeated. Leo then learnt that her tribe believed anyone defeated by strength must marry the victor. Back in the present, Lily asks about their wedding, and Leo tells her it will happen when she is older. The final flashback shows Leo fighting Shutina, the succubus who mastered magic, but she was embarrassingly weak and lost quickly. Shutina becomes angry and claims it was unfair. Leo mocks her and says a true professional needs a backup plan. Shutina asks how anyone could prepare for someone who nullifies magic. Leo tells her that such a person is standing right in front of her. Myrnis admits he enjoyed hearing the stories. Everyone agrees that Shutina was the weakest, which embarrasses her. Shutina then asks why Leo wants to join the demons, and Leo explains to her that his final battle with Echidna was brutal, as she transformed into a monstrous form. However, Leo dodged every attack and pierced her power gem, leaving her unconscious and defeated. But after returning to the capital, people began to fear him. Rumors spread, calling him a monster, and even assassins were sent to kill him, but they failed easily. Later, the king called him to his castle and thanked him, but also banished him to calm the people. Leo wandered alone, questioning why he protected such a world. Then one day, heard the demons were recruiting again and decided they were the only ones who might accept him. And so, he set out on his journey to quit harrowing, and even crossed deserts and mountains to reach them. Moved by his story, Lily cries and Shutina agrees to a 1-month trial period, but on the conditions that he must remain disguised and not show his true identity and prove his worth. They list their problems, including rebuilding and supplies. Lily happily tells Leo that she handles logistics, which surprises Leo, as he knows that logistics are very important and Lily does not seem to have adequate experience. But hearing this, Shutina becomes very angry and blames him, but Edward calms her down, saying that Leo will make up for all the damage he has caused. They welcome Leo and promise to recommend him. That night, Leo plans his next steps and wonders why Echidna invaded peacefully and refuses to leave the human world. The next morning, Leo wakes up with clear focus and prepares himself to begin helping rebuild the demon army. When he reaches her room, he notices that the door is tightly closed and locked. Using a spell, Leo forces the lock open and steps inside quietly. He finds Shutina still asleep and tries to wake her up gently. She does not react at all to his voice or his movements. Seeing no response, Leo decides to scare her awake. He copies the voice of the Demon Queen and orders her to get to work immediately. Hearing the voice, Shutina jumps up in panic and begins apologizing in fear and shame. She regrets leaving her duties and bows deeply in terror. A moment later, she realizes that the voice belongs to Leo. She notices that she is wearing sleep clothes and becomes deeply embarrassed. In her panic, she casts a powerful spell that destroys the wall of his room. The sudden noise alarms the Demon Queen, who believes an attack is happening inside the castle. Sometime later, Leo cleans up the destroyed room with ease. Shutina walks around angrily and complains non-stop. She explains that she is extremely overworked because of the damage he caused when he defeated the army. Many high-ranking members return to the demon world to heal their injuries. Because of this, the remaining generals now handle far too many duties. The amount of work placed on each person is exhausting and overwhelming. Leo tells her that she should not worry because he is there to help her. He also tells her that she should try to be kinder. Shutina angrily asks how she can stay calm when a man enters her room while she sleeps. Leo jokes that she should not mind since she is a succubus. This comment makes her face turn red with anger and shame. She attacks Leo again without holding back. Later, Shutina gets dressed and prepares herself properly for work. She meets Leo in her office, where he is already waiting. A long list of tasks is placed neatly on the desk. Leo reads through the list carefully and realizes that there are more than 50 tasks written down. He asks why she does not delegate some of the work. Shutina sadly replies that she has no one to give the work to. She explains that she has no. Leo points to one task about recharging the magic reactors in the castle. He explains that these reactors power many important tools and systems. Shutina explains the problem with the reactors in detail. Only the person who created a reactor can recharge it safely. If someone with a different magic flow tries the reactor, will explode. Leo decides to take responsibility for this task himself. Leo explains that he will use a skill called Harmonize. This skill allows him to copy her magic flow perfectly. Leo asks how many reactors need to be recharged. Shutina tells him that there are only 4 active ones at the moment. There are more than 100 throughout the castle. Leo confidently asks for 2 hours and 30 minutes to finish the job. Shutina looks disappointed and says she could do it herself in less than 1 hour. Leo tells her to relax and promises to surprise her. Leo prepares to leave and casts a spell to change his appearance, turning into a black knight to hide his identity. He turns to Shutina and asks for an official title to gain trust, and she allows him to be called an assistant to the generals. As Leo leaves the office, he passes a young girl in the hallway who looks worried and quickly runs away after seeing him. Elsewhere in the castle, the Demon Queen meets with the other 3 generals. They discuss their concern for Shutina and her health. They consider checking on her if she seems strange. The others agree that this might cause more stress. The Demon Queen accepts this advice. After 30 minutes, Leo returns to the office. Shutina looks at the clock and questions why he is back so soon. Leo calmly tells her that the work is already done. Shutina says she will give him another task. Leo replies that he is tired and needs rest first. He asks to watch her work quietly while he recovers. Time passes as Leo sits on the sofa watching her work. He eats while resting and comments that the food is bland. He suggests improving meals to raise morale. Shutina becomes annoyed and starts to believe he is lazy. After 1 hour, she angrily demands that he return to work. When he refuses, she tries to lift him by force. Leo casts a gravity spell to stay seated. Shutina yells that he wastes mana on nonsense instead of working. Shutina returns to her work while Leo thinks quietly. Shutina finally loses patience and believes he is useless. She prepares her magic staff and decides to attack him. Leo quickly claims that he is not useful to the army. Shutina begins chanting a spell to remove him. A knock suddenly interrupts the moment. Leo smiles and says someone important has arrived. He hides his presence and changes back into the Black Knight form. The young girl from earlier enters the room. Her name is Dianette. Leo introduces himself as Lord Onyx. He asks her about the reactor report. Shutina watches in confusion. Dianette explains that she recharged the reactors using a talisman. Shutina is shocked and asks Leo if he did not recharge them himself. Leo explains his method clearly. He visited the workshop and obtained an amethyst. He used a spell to copy Shutina magic flow into the talisman. Anyone using it can safely recharge the reactors. Leo explains the time he used carefully. He spent 15 minutes creating the talisman. Lily distracted him for 5 minutes unexpectedly. He used another 5 minutes to find Dianette. The last 15 minutes were spent teaching her. He ordered Dianette to find others capable of the task. She found 3 suitable sorcerers. They now share the work using the talisman. Shutina thanks Leo and says she will create more talismans. She forgives the delay because it was his first task. Shutina is left speechless by his actions. Leo explains that his goal is to reduce her burden. Dianette was worried about her health, so he helped. Shutina becomes happy and tells Leo she trusts him now. Dianette leaves the room with joy. When alone, Leo explains his real purpose clearly. He tells her that tasks should be shared among many people. Leaders should step in only when problems arise. Work should never be handled alone. A large group must rely on teamwork. Shutina asks why he never told her earlier. Leo explains that she worries too much. He knew she would try to do everything herself. He tells her to trust the people she chose. The organization must survive even if she disappears. Shutina learns from this and later becomes angry. She realizes Leo appeared lazy earlier. Leo explains that watching is also work. He learned from observing her. He reorganized tasks and marked 2 groups she can delegate easily. Shutina apologizes for misjudging him. Leo tells her he helps because if she falls, the army falls. Before leaving, she thanks him again. He jokes about the kiss promise, which embarrasses her. She attacks him again. That night, Shutina assigns Leo a new mission since Lily is heading out to secure food and supplies, and she wants him to go with her and ensure that the shipments are safe. Leo sees Lily's plan is weak and agrees to help ensure success. Lily and Leo are sent together to the Largo Sea, which is known for its clear waters and scattered islands across the horizon. Many of these islands remain unexplored and untouched, which gives the sea a strong feeling of mystery. Old shipwrecks from long ago rest beneath the water after being slowly reclaimed by nature. Leo views this place as a brief vacation and allows himself to relax for a short time. That peaceful mood quickly disappears when Lily begins playing with members of the demon army nearby. She loudly challenges them to races and competitions to see who is faster. A memory from the previous night appears where Shutina explains the mission to Leo in detail. She tells him that Lily will be heading to Largo the next day on a logistics mission. Leo is surprised because Largo is very far from the castle and difficult to manage. Shutina explains that the demon army and the people of Largo share a long and unbreakable alliance. She tells him that about 3,000 years ago, the Demon King attacked the human kingdom. After the demons were defeated, many of them chose peace and lived alongside humans. However, a race known as the Dragon Folk was hunted and persecuted without mercy. Because peaceful coexistence became impossible, the Dragon Folk fled to the Largo Islands. Due to this painful history, they welcomed Queen Echidna's invasion warmly. They became the reason the demon army could survive and continue fighting. Without their support, the demon army would have collapsed long ago. After hearing this explanation, Leo understands why he was sent to assist Lily. The castle food supplies and equipment are running dangerously low. The shipment must arrive safely and efficiently or the army will suffer. The biggest concern is Lily's own plan for handling the mission. Leo asks why Edward was not sent instead since he is also dragonfolk. Shutina explains that Edward must remain behind to protect the castle. She also explains that Edward tends to do everything alone. Despite his feelings, he accepts the task without further argument. He makes a careless joke that annoys Shutina deeply. As a result, she orders him to leave her room immediately. The following day, Lily and Leo arrive in Largo at last. Lily immediately begins running through the town, playing and laughing loudly. Her actions cause damage to buildings and upset the locals. When they finally reach the portal, Lily celebrates winning the race. She praises everyone for being worthy opponents and thanks them cheerfully. Leo asks her to stop playing and focus on the mission. Lily claims the race was about delivering supplies faster. An elf points out that many supplies remain undelivered. Lily responds that it is enough for today and suggests taking a break to eat. This response deeply worries Leo. Later, Lily offers Leo a coconut she picked herself from a tree. Leo realizes that at this pace, the work will never be completed. Largo has a portal connecting directly to the castle. Supplies are already stacked in storage areas across the island. If the many races of the island work together properly, the task could finish within 1 or 2 days. This thought is interrupted when Lily offers him a carrot with excitement. Leo politely declines and Lily gives it to someone else. A goblin asks who Leo is. Lily almost introduces him as her future husband. Leo quickly covers her mouth and introduces himself properly. As work continues, Leo notices a damaged structure that requires immediate repair. He tells the goblins it should be prioritized for safety reasons. The goblins ignore him and say only their leader can approve changes. Leo gives up trying to assist. As evening approaches, he feels invisible and ignored. Many townspeople are angry due to the destruction caused earlier. Leo personally apologizes to them and tries to calm their anger. Lily approaches Leo and notices his gloomy expression. She asks if he feels sick. Leo says his head hurts badly. Lily becomes very worried and runs off to search for medicine. Back at the castle, Shutina asks a goblin if the supplies have arrived. The goblin answers no and leaves quickly. Shutina and Myrnice discuss whether the mission is too difficult for Lily. Shutina insists Lily is one of the 4 generals like them. She recalls a conversation with Queen Echidna. They spoke about how Leo defeated them, without killing anyone. Echidna said Leo held back despite their full strength. This realization left her feeling powerless. Lily later appears holding a flower she found near the entrance. She gives it to the queen with a bright smile. Leo suggests planting many flowers in the garden. The idea makes the queen happy. The scene returns to the present where Shutina stands in a garden filled with flowers. She understands what must be done next. Back in Largo, Leo watches Lily searching desperately for medicine. He realizes Lily is kind and pure at heart. Night falls and Lily returns with medicine in her hands. She apologizes for taking so long to return. Inside the tent, she finds Leo lying weak on a bed. Leo tells her a poisonous snake bit him earlier. He explains that even with his strength, he will die within 12 hours. Lily suggests calling Shutina for help. Leo claims the portal is broken and unusable. He explains no one on the island can heal him. The only way to save his life is to find rare herbs on the western peaks. This marks the beginning of Leo's plan. Lily leaves immediately without hesitation. Once she disappears, Leo heals himself using magic. He sends a spy eye to follow her movements. He has placed several tests along the path. Lily must learn leadership and teamwork to pass them. As Lily searches with determination, she transforms into a massive white wolf named Fenrir. This wolf is a holy guardian from her homeland. Leo does not understand how she can transform. He knows she has reached the first test. A massive rock blocks her path. Leo protected it with magic that prevents physical damage. Lily attacks the rock again and again without success. Leo believes she will ask for help. Instead, she continues attacking with relentless force. Cracks slowly spread across the stone. To Leo's surprise, the rock finally shatters completely. The second test lies within a cave filled with multiplying slimes. One core slime controls them all. Lily fights alone until pressure destroys the core. She passes the test without assistance. The third test is a wide magical abyss. Jumping across is impossible. A bard named Godheart appears who is Leo in disguise. He sings about needing friends to overcome obstacles. Lily thanks him and leaves to seek help. Leo feels proud, believing she learned teamwork. Soon, Lily calls out to him. She swims through a river beneath the cliff and climbs up the other side. She solved the test differently than expected. The next day, Leo wakes to find an empty bowl beside him. Lily enters smiling and explains she fed him herbs. She shows him a drawing of a work plan. Leo is shocked by her growth. Lily explains Godheart taught her teamwork. Leo realizes the solution was simple. He praises her efforts. Lily says everyone worked happily together. Back at the castle, Shutina is happy to see Lily's growth to become a reliable leader, after which Leo asks her if she has a new task for him. But Shutina hands him an order from Echidna herself, explaining to him that problem has arisen and she wants the Knight Onyx to appear before her immediately, which scares Leo a little to think that she might have found out about his identity. A flashback shows a modern city falling into chaos. Buildings burn and collapse everywhere. Leo is inside a helicopter receiving orders through a device. He jumps from the helicopter and cuts a large orc in half in front of a woman covered in blood. He checks that she is safe and then continues fighting and killing enemies one after another. Back in the present, Leo wakes up and realizes it was all a nightmare. He feels that the rest of the day will be terrible. He remembers the talk he had with Shutina the day before. She said the queen might be upset because he had not gone to see her yet. She also said everything was going well thanks to the help of the Knight Onyx. Leo replies that maybe the queen wants to see him for that same reason. She asks him to call her at once if his identity is discovered. Leo tells her she will be fine. He summons his armor again and says he will handle it himself. When he meets her, she greets him warmly with a big smile. She apologizes for calling him on short notice. She thanks him for all his help and asks him to sit at a large table filled with a huge banquet. After tasting the food and drinks, they continue talking calmly and kindly. Leo wants to leave as quickly as possible because he is terrified that she might discover his true identity. She then makes a request that makes him very nervous. She asks him to remove his helmet. He says it would be rude to show his face to her. She insists and says she wants to speak to him face to face. She walks up to him and removes his helmet herself. Leo uses the chance to talk about how the chefs prepared the food, and the conversation continues. The Demon Queen praises Leo not only for his work, but also for his cooking knowledge. She then asks again why he always wears that helmet and never takes it off. Leo feels glad because they have reached the topic he wanted. He makes up a story and says he was cursed by a goddess. He says the time he is allowed to show his face is very limited. That is why he must spend most of his time in armor. He adds that he is close to reaching his limit right now. Still, he is willing to take the risk because it gives him a chance to spend time with her. This makes her blush, and she wants to spend the whole night drinking and enjoying the food. This shocks Leo because he used the time limit as an excuse to leave quickly. She says he is the last person they would want because he would destroy them from the inside. Leo finds this extremely absurd because she is talking badly about him while he stands right in front of her. She says that if not for Leo, she would already have the Philosopher's Stone, and they would not be in this situation. She then explains what the Philosopher's Stone is. It is a treasure found in the holy city of Renales. The first holy king discovered it more than 3,000 years ago and used its power to found the capital. Rumors say the Philosopher's Stone turned the wastelands into green fields. It protected people from a plague and could even make someone immortal. Most of these rumors are false. She knows this because she used one before. It was not the same stone that is now in the capital. The Philosopher's Stone does not give superpowers. It is not a magic booster, and it is not a cure for everything. After explaining this, Leo notices that Echidna continues to speak badly about him. She says their goal in the invasion was wrong. She says the best way would have been to work with humans instead of against them. This reminds Leo of a children's story about humans and demons joining forces. It tells of someone called Ibrad, the joiner of hands. He traveled to the human world and built a city where humans and demons lived together in peace. However, this story has nothing to do with reality. Humans and demons are meant to oppose each other. This makes Leo curious. He asks what she plans to do with the Philosopher's Stone. After losing the last battle and most of her army and land, she chose to stay and rebuild instead of returning to the demon realm. She says if she only wanted immortality or wealth, she would have lost her purpose and left. She says she is tired of this. She wants to free that land from conflict. She wants to fill it with sunlight and clean water. She wants to create fields and forests that move gently in the wind. She wants to use the Philosopher's Stone to rebuild that land. This surprises Leo because she fought humans to improve the lives of her people. She continues and says she has no hatred toward humans. However, she must get the Philosopher's Stone. If humans gave it willingly, she would take it without bloodshed. But even if she explained her good intentions, they would never give it to her. The holy capital is the center of the human kingdom. Taking what holds that city together would harm their way of life. Still, she is willing to make that sacrifice. She says she will give safety in the demon world to anyone who helps her. She does not care what happens to humans who stand against her goodwill. Leo reminds her that he forbids unnecessary killing in wars. She answers that because of that way of thinking, they ended up losing so badly. However, she does not want to become a complete villain. Humans may be her enemy, but they also have homes they want to protect. She ends by saying she has no ill will toward Leo. He exists to protect humanity. She says she cannot blame him for doing his duty and fighting an invader. These words make Leo realize she is a kind queen who truly cares for her people. However, she became a conqueror to protect them. He thinks about all the fear and stress she must have carried. He realizes that he caused her this pain. After sharing her feelings, she asks why he decided to join the demon army. Since she has been honest, he feels it would be wrong to lie, and he remembers their talks during dinner. Just as he decides to reveal his true identity, Shutina and Lily interrupt with urgent news. Myrnis has left a letter saying he is leaving on a journey and asks them not to look for him. Another letter is from Edward. He says that because he failed to train his troops properly, he will take responsibility by ending his own life. This news shocks everyone deeply. That same night, Leo goes to look for Myrnis to ask him why he is leaving. Myrnis answers that it is because of his age. He reminds Leo that Shutina mentioned his birthday was not long ago. Leo says it is impressive that someone between 16 and 17 is already in the army and offers to throw him a party. Myrnis tells him to stop treating him like he is older because they are almost the same age. These words bother Leo a little. They remind him of the moment when they received the letter about Myrnis leaving and Edward trying to take his own life. They both decide to go look for Edward and Myrnis. However, they do not know where Myrnis is. Leo follows his trail of magic and searches until he finds him. A short duel begins. Myrnis does not know that Leo is under the armor. Once Leo takes it off, the fight ends. Later, they talk about why Myrnis wanted to travel. Leo tells him that great generals cannot simply disappear. If they lose someone like him, they will have to rebuild the army from the start. To stop him from leaving, Leo secretly ties his leg with a chain using a small spell. He then tells him that if he has a good reason for leaving, he will let him go, but he must make sure he will not regret it. After a short talk, Myrnis finally reveals his real reason. He has been assigned the role of interviewer for the new army recruits. He must do this alone. For that role, he needs to be energetic and commanding and able to speak well. However, he is quiet. Even when he was a guild master, he let others speak. He does the same now in the demon army. He thought that if he traveled and visited many towns, he might learn something. But now that Leo is there, he no longer needs to travel. He asks Leo to teach him how to have conversations. Leo says he is not sure how to teach that. He asks if Myrnis asked anyone else for help. Myrnis says no, because he did not want to bother anyone since everyone is busy with their work. After hearing his reason, Leo asks if that was really why he left such a serious letter. Myrnis thinks everything was pointless and tries to escape. He cannot because his leg is tied. After this failed attempt, Leo agrees to teach him how to talk properly in 3 days. Once they return to the castle, the Queen Shutina and Lily all thank Leo for his help. Echidna talks about how the generals also act as advisors to her. That means she must listen to what they say. The killer thoughts about humans often clash with her own. Leo remembers that in their first fight after he was defeated, Myrnis asked him to kill him. He said that if Leo did not, one day Myrnis would bring destruction to humanity. Leo found that strange before joining the demon army. After this, Leo asks about General Edward. The queen answers that they went to the training camp and saw that he was truly trying to kill himself. His scales were so hard that every weapon he used broke. Even though he said his reason was that he failed to train the troops properly, they still do not know the full story. For now, his daughter Julieta will watch over him because she is his only weakness. The next day, the castle dining room is very busy. Mouse cooks prepare food. The head chef serves dishes to the troops. Leo and Myrns work as waiters. Myrns is dressed in women clothing. Because of his gentle face and those clothes, he can pretend to be someone else and not a general. The troops would be nervous if their superior served them food. After some time, Myrnis is unhappy with this method. He does not see how serving food helps him become a master of communication. Leo explains that service jobs teach the basics of communication. Talking to customers and understanding them and even giving food suggestions helps create better conversations. The head chef tells Myrnis to smile more, or he will scare customers. When he tries to smile, it becomes even scarier. Leo tries to encourage him. He says that no one is born a good communicator. It only takes practice. He explains that he himself was once very bad at talking. He has talked to many people and failed many times. He was often embarrassed. He advises Myrnis not to use very short or repeated phrases. Conversations are a shared effort. One person speaks and the other responds. That is how a pleasant talk is created. People want to feel that they are being listened to. Leo gives an example. He asks Myrnis to imagine eating with friends and talking about soup. There are many ways to respond. He could agree that it is good. He could say it is not his taste. He could suggest another type of food. He could say he feels like eating something else. The point is to understand other people's tastes. Myrnis replies that empathy is the first thing removed when entering the Assassin's Guild, so with very little empathy, he believes the best trick is to stay quiet and listen. Leo does not understand at first and thinks he is joking. He kicks him and asks what kind of conversation that would be if he does not talk. Leo then explains that a good communicator is also a good listener. Myrnis responds that Leo himself is always silent. Leo says that is because because he always wants conversations to end. He explains that listening carefully to what the other person says is the best way to talk. That is how he did it the first time he tried to speak with someone. When people know that you listen well, they will come to you for advice and opinions. Marinus decides to test this. At that moment, someone calls him from a table to take an order. He walks over. A group of werewolves sits there. They complain that he took too long. They threaten him and say they are dangerous and that he does not want to be on their blacklist. Then the leader calls him beautiful. Marinus asks what they want to eat. The leader says they want beer and meat. Marinus says he needs more details because there are many types of beer and meat. The leader mocks him by repeating his words and everyone laughs. Marinus suggests red pepper stuffed with meat because it goes well with beer. The leader slaps the letter out of his hand and says he is hungry for a pretty woman and makes a move on him. Marinus answers that this dining room does not offer that service. The head chef scolds Leo for not stepping in to help. Leo tells her that Mernz can handle it himself. A moment later, Mernz puts the leader on the ground with a headlock and nearly breaks his arm. When the rest of the group tries to attack, he knocks them all out easily. Everyone in the room is shocked. Leo realizes that he should teach him better disguise skills. His shift is over. On the way back to their rooms, Leo tells him that his first day was not bad. He says acting like that is the best way to deal with people like them. He reminds him that he even suggested what to order, so he did better than expected. To end the day, Leo tells him to change and go to his room. Late at night, Leo asks him to sit down. They are going to do a practice interview. Mernus will interview Leo to test what he learned. He can ask anything. Mernus takes advantage of this and asks Leo about his true reason for joining the army. He says he knows the story about wanting to bring ruin to humanity is a lie, which shocks Leo because he thinks that Mernus has seen through him. Leo begins to tell him about his past and the first time he experienced a demonic invasion. They continue talking about why he lied to join the demon army. With his current power, he would not need it to plunge the world into chaos. This surprises Leo because he sees how much Mernus has improved in speaking. He tries to change the topic by looking for a piece of paper to give him credit as a master. However, Mernus asks him not to avoid the question. He asks if Leo is not upset that he gave everything to protect them, and they rejected him. He says it is strange that Leo did not want them dead like he did. He asks if Leo investigated his past. Leo reveals that Mernus is half human and half demon. When he was little, humans feared him and his parents sold him into slavery. As time passed, he ended up in the Assassin's Guild. He survived because he had enough skill. That is why he joined the Demon Queen army to wipe out humanity. On the day of the invasion, he opened the city gates himself so the army could enter. Because of Echidna ideals, she would not kill them as Mernus wanted. Despite his doubts, he joined the army. He still did not understand why he got along with those humans. Shutina explains that unnecessary fighting only wears out troops. To raise morale, they need breaks like this. Edward then appears. He says he planned to refuse joining the army because he thought it would be cruel and bloody. He changed his mind when he saw Echidna's kind actions. After talking more, Shutina asks Mernus why he joined the troops. He cannot say he joined expecting the destruction of humanity. He says he had no reason. The Demon Queen then shares her reason for wanting the Philosopher's Stone. After hearing it, Mernus stands up and decides to sleep. He thinks that if needed, he will kill the Queen himself and lead the army to destroy humanity. He remembers becoming one of the 4 great generals and guiding the army until Leo appeared. He remembers the advice Leo gave him after defeating him, which was to explore the world more. He thinks about how strange it is that Edward once believed the war would be cruel and full of blood, yet changed his mind after seeing the Queen kindness. He realizes that many in the army joined for reasons they did not fully understand at first. Some joined out of fear, some out of duty, and some out of anger. Yet over time, their reasons began to change. Mernus himself joined hoping for destruction, but now stands in a place where he must listen and speak with others. Leo sees that even in a place built for war, people can still grow and change. He reflects that this is part of what makes the army different from what it once was. Instead of only seeking battle, they now seek order and balance. He feels that this change is slow but real. It does not erase the past, but it opens a path forward. He carries this thought quietly as the night moves on around him slowly. Mernus replies that he has seen enough and nothing interests him. Leo says that is because he saw it through the eyes of a killer. He teaches that the world looks different when seen on your own terms and not just through work. He advises him to find something in the world he has not seen, and if he still wants to die, Leo will kill him himself. If he does something evil, Leo will also kill him. He then says goodbye and leaves. Back in the present, Mernus asks why Leo does not hate humanity the way he hates himself. If he truly hated them, he would not have given such advice. After seeing Leo at his most sensitive, Mernus realizes how much he is learning about the 4 generals and decides to open up. When Mernus promises to listen, Leo says he felt very bad when they told him they no longer needed him, and even asked that he be killed. This hurt because he had defended humanity for a very long time. He then begins to tell his true story. He was born a long time ago in a place called Tokyo, where the capital of the King Kingdom now stands. He explains the many tools and artifacts that existed at that time. Only humans lived in his world until he was one of the weakest. He was the only one to survive alive to this day. This shocks Berenice. Leo continues, since he was born, he knew no other life than protecting humans. Those orders were placed in him from the start. The others were strong, but they fell one by one in battle until only he remained. He lost his chance to die. Even after the industrial world fell and magic replaced machines, he continued to live. So much time passed that he can barely remember it. Every time a war started, he fought. He became too strong to die. This filled Leo with doubt. He wondered if it was right. Humanity depended on him whenever there was trouble. He could never abandon his duty. Almost the last time he was left out, he felt bad at first, but then he felt happy. These words surprised Berenice. Leo says those words gave him the chance to stop being a hero. Now when humanity needs help, he can still act the same and do what he truly wants. He now spends his second life doing what he always wanted by joining the demons. Berenice does not understand any of this. He bangs the table to stop Leo. Leo is surprised that he told his entire story without noticing. He thinks Berenice has become a very good listener. Berenice says the story makes no sense because legend says the Demon King invaded hundreds of years ago. Leo follows that story and says a mysterious wise man saved the world. He asks Berenice about his age. He then asks Leo directly. Leo says it is just an exterior body made to be stronger. As for his age, he is not sure. He stopped counting after he passed 1,000 years. He adds that over such a long time, he has met many good and bad people. He says these are good people even if they are a little foolish. He assures Berenice he will make sure everything ends happily. He says he will get the Philosopher's Stone for them himself. Confused Berenice lies down on a chair and asks why Leo told him all this. Leo says it is because Berenice looked serious and truly wanted to listen. He congratulates him. He says Berenice will do great in his interviews and make others open up. After hearing this, Berenice falls asleep from exhaustion. In another room, Echidna looks at a book of children's stories. He thinks the person in the pages might help bring peace between demons and humans. The next day in the mine, some army workers discover several giant robots hidden among the rocks. The discovery shocks them because they have never seen machines like these before. At the same time, at the castle, Giulietta talks with Leo about her father. She says that he always believes everyone should be on his level. The flashback shows that the training he gave his soldiers was far beyond what they could handle. They were defeated by a chimera. Because of this defeat, he feels fully responsible. He believes the only way to atone is to take his own life. Leo says this makes no sense because his death would not make the soldiers stronger or solve anything. Giulietta explains that her father has stopped thinking about doing that. Still training the new soldiers is impossible because they lack experience and strength. Leo asks why her father trains rookies at such a high level. Giulietta answers that her father expects everyone to be as strong as he is. When he saw his soldiers fail against the chimera, he believed they simply did not try hard enough. Leo says this way of thinking is harmful. It is often said by the strong or the smart who believe their success came only from effort. This is rarely true. Some fighters are born strong, and some thinkers receive good training early in life. Many outside factors shape success. Leo explains that people who are naturally talented often fail to see how unique they are. They expect others to reach the same level without help. This shows that good warriors are not always good teachers. When people train others, they ask what they did to become strong and then make others do the same. A good coach would change the training if it is too hard, but powerful people often do not do this. They think failure means lack of effort. Edward works very hard, so he believes his strength came only from effort. Giulietta says that after fighting Leo, she realized her own weakness and doubled her training. However, Edward pushes his troops so hard that they faint from exhaustion. Even though the soldiers take training seriously and try their best, they cannot keep up. Giulietta asks Leo what they should do. In another room, Berenice tells Lily and Shotina about Leo. They wonder why he lied and joined the army. Lily believes he simply wanted to help because he is kind. The others agree but still feel unsure. They decide that if he does anything strange, they will report it to the Queen. Until then, they trust him. Later, Leo thinks about how to make Edward see reason. He reads Lily report, which mentions a very large metallic object that is extremely strong. Soon someone knocks on his door and says Queen Echidna wants to see him. Leo meets the Queen and tells her that General Edward has left his post. Edward said he is no longer fit to lead the troops. He has returned to being a common soldier so he can train with his subordinates. Leo believes this is a serious mistake that will only worsen the situation. He makes a proposal to handle the situation himself. Queen Echidna agrees, though she does so reluctantly. Leo leaves to prepare. Before he goes, the Queen tells him there is another matter she wants to discuss later. He nods and leaves. Later in the mine, Lily shows him the enormous robot they found. He identifies it as a machine-age artifact more powerful than an S-rank chimera. It is a mechanical golem built to fight high-level demons. Leo plans to use the machine to teach Edward a lesson. That day, Edward gathers his soldiers. Instead of training them, he makes an announcement. He says that from this day forward, he is no longer the general. He will be a common soldier. His daughter will become the new general. Leo watches this from the air while using invisibility so no one sees him. He tells himself that this harsh world will not let Edward give up so easily. Leo starts the huge robot. Edward sees the massive machine and organizes his troops to attack it. He says he is still their general today. No matter how much they attack the robot, it does not take a single scratch. The robot stops and begins charging a powerful laser. Leo diverts it because he did not know how strong the weapon was. After the second attack, the soldiers flee in fear because the machine is too powerful. Edward decides to attack the robot head-on without hesitation. Leo tells him to crouch. The robot then forms a massive laser blade on its arm. Edward barely dodges it. Leo tells him that the blade could cut through dragon scales. Leo orders Edward to follow his instructions and says he will guide him. He explains that when the robot eye glows, it will fire a laser 3 seconds later. Edward must use defensive spells to block it. Edward gets distracted and loses one shoulder spike. The robot deploys a vibrating steel blade. Leo warns him never to take a direct hit from it. He says the blade itself is weak and can be broken if hit from the side. Edward narrowly avoids the attack. He says he does not understand any of this. Leo scolds him and says this is the most basic knowledge about mechanical golems. Edward replies that he has never faced an enemy like this. He says that what is common knowledge for Leo is not common for him. He then follows Leo's order and jumps at the robot. He breaks one of its blades. Leo realizes that his lessons are starting to work on Edward. Leo orders Giulietta to join the fight. Edward tells her not to get involved because he does not want her to get hurt. She responds by explaining one of the robot weaknesses. Edward is surprised because he did not expect his daughter to know this. He hesitates. Leo tells him that Giulietta is correct. He says Edward should attack the right side because it is the weak point. Edward strikes deeply and defeats the golem. After the battle, Edward thanks them. Suddenly, an alarm sounds from inside the robot. Other machines awaken at once. The mine begins to collapse. Leo worries he will have to fight all of them. Queen Echidna contacts him and says it will not be necessary. She says she and the other generals are already in the mine to protect it. They organize a plan. A flashback shows Echidna and her subordinates moving to stop a possible unexpected echo like the one that just happened. Back in the present, they unleash a powerful fire attack and melt all the machines. In the afternoon, Leo teaches Edward a lesson. He pretends to scold him. He says Edward was terrible in combat. He says everyone knows about mechanical golems. Edward is shocked because he cannot believe everyone knows about such machines. Leo continues and says this knowledge is basic. He tells Edward that he did not try hard enough. These are the same words Edward used on his soldiers after the Chimera defeat. Edward remembers that one soldier said they had never fought such a creature before. He realizes that he himself knew how to defeat the Chimera only because he had been trained. He understands that he could not expect others with no experience to know its weaknesses. Giulietta steps in as part of Leo's plan. She stands in front of Edward and says Leo should not insult her father. She says he should not assume his knowledge is shared by everyone. Edward has many years of experience and familiarity with these beings. The soldiers have never fought anything like this. Leo continues the fake argument a little longer. He drives the point home. Edward finally understands that he should not expect others to match him. He must train people from the basics and move forward slowly. Edward turns to his army and apologizes with all his heart. The soldiers step forward together. They ask him to please continue as their general. They say they all joined because they were inspired by his strength. They promise they will try harder. They ask him to continue training them. Leo feels happy because Edward has finally understood the message. Meanwhile, in the mine, the Demon Queen continues attacking the remaining mechanical golems, enjoying their destruction with her powerful attacks because they are very strong and durable. The next day, Shutina enters Leo's room to inform him that everything has gone as planned and the Queen is expected to promote him to a leadership role alongside the rest of the generals. Myrnus had told them his story and asked if he really lied about his reasons for joining the army. Leo replies that he will inform the rest later when they are all together and asks them to trust that he will not betray them while he clutches a book in his hands. After this, Shutina tells him not to reveal her identity until she gives him permission, because otherwise they might get into trouble. Shutina then asks about the book in his hands, titled I. The scene changes to a flashback from the past where the real Ibrad is a small red demon with wings. He talks to Leo, telling him that he cannot speak for others, but Little Goblin explains that perhaps some of his royals or nobles appeared in the human world in the past, which might be why Belial's name is in his books. Abrod grows more nervous as he sees an impassive look in Leo's eyes and fears he will be killed. However, Leo suddenly lowers his sword and asks him to follow. Abrod explains that at first, they did not plan an invasion. Wars over humans will try to colonize the human world. Abrod says it is likely because humans are weak and spies might have reported their strength. He explains that not all in the demon world are demons, only treating them like nothing. Abrod asks if Leo now understands why they wanted to escape. After a short conversation, Abrod explains that he is neither a man nor a woman. He was created with masculine traits, which surprises the little demon because he did not expect him to be artificial. Abrod realizes he might be killed soon and asks Leo to end his suffering. Leo, however, sheaths his sword and thanks him for the information. The little demon is incredulous, unable to understand why Leo does not kill him. Leo answers that the information he gave is valuable, so he will escort him safely to the meeting point. At that moment, Abrod realizes Leo is different from other humans. He sees Leo's enormous power and recognizes him as a being neither fully human nor fully demon. They begin walking toward the protection point in silence. The little demon becomes nervous and asks Leo his name, surprising him because no demon had ever asked. Abrod explains that telling your name shows you were born. As long as someone remembers your name, you are never. They summarize the invasion so far, explaining that 12 biological weapons were created to defeat the demons who invaded Japan. These unstoppable weapons imitate and eradicate demons. They surpass the power of their invaders and have unwavering loyalty to humanity, serving as the last defense. This unnerves Abrod, who asks if Leo was created only to protect humanity, calling it a sad thing. Leo explains why he is in that area. Reports said to Leo, who asks why Abrod thinks it is sad. Abrod says it is because once peace returns and the war ends, Leo's only purpose will be gone. He will lose his usefulness and his reason for existing. Abrod offers to sit and talk. He asks why Leo risks his life to win peace. Only death would be a blessing away from the times when he felt fulfilled. He will move forward confused and aimless. Abrod tells him he will live forever, gaining and losing purpose repeatedly, never able to rest in peace. That is why he said not die in the war. Abrod reveals that the war intensifies, and Leo is the weakest of the DH series, so his probability of dying is high. The little demon is shocked because Leo is so strong yet considered the weakest. Leo explains that is why he has been gaining experience far from the front. Abrod asks if Leo is calm about the future knowing he might die. He answers yes, claiming he does not think Leo suffers as he imagines. Abrod prays that Leo will be killed before becoming invincible, though he later admits it is a lie. Finally, that he cannot return to his world, Abrod says he will find a way for humans and demons to live in harmony and will continue asking everyone to stop fighting. He asks Leo if he remembers his name, saying that when they close the gap between their towns, they should put up a statue of both of them. Abrod's words remain engraved in Leo's memory, thinking that the day has come to reveal his true identity. In the castle, Queen Echidna finishes a decree that ends Leo's temporary status and makes him the 5th member of the Great Generals. The Demon Queen trusts him and gathers the higher-ups for a ceremony. The ceremony is interrupted by a messenger who brings bad news that the Great Spiritual Portal is closing. This shocks both the Queen and Shutina, so they go to investigate. They learn the rare crystal catalysts that keep it open are running out. The members with strong magic try to keep it open while Echidna laments that this happens just when her future finally seemed secure. Their magic keeps the portal stable, but it will only last about 7 more days. Lily asks what will happen if it closes. The Queen says they cannot return to the demon world. Once closed, no one knows when another portal will open. It could take hundreds or thousands of years, during which the demon world will suffer. They must decide their next move in 7 days. Shutina presents options. First, return to the demon world before it closes. This means withdrawing because human members cannot live there. Lily says she does not want to part from them after becoming friends. Myrnis asks about the second option, to mobilize the army and attack Renali's for the Philosopher's Stone. This is rejected by general vote because their forces are weaker than before. Sending them into battle would cause reckless bloodshed, especially with Leo on their side. Shutina asks Leo if he has fought her. He says no, but has heard stories. She says she fought him and tested his strength and he defeated her. Thinking it over, she decides attacking the capital would be too dangerous. She says both she and Shutina will return to the demon world. Returning without the Philosopher's Stone would lead to conflict over the throne. Everyone thinks they should tell her the truth about Leo, but Shutina hesitates. The queen asks them to tell her because she knows the faith and hope placed in the stone. Leo reminds her that when they drank together, she said she wanted to improve the lives of her people. She confirms this. She wanted the demon plane to have clean air, water, and green land. She trained to become queen and traveled to the human world for the Philosopher's Stone. Despite their efforts, it ended in defeat. Leo removes his helmet and explains the stone is not all powerful. Everyone is shocked. He says it is an engine from the mechanical age using a micro-black hole to produce near unlimited energy. He is unsure it can fulfill her wishes. A detailed manual is hidden in the human world, but is very hard to find. The queen, still unaware Lord Onyx is Leo, says if they work with humans, they could find the manual. Since they do not want to, they would have to steal it, and that would end peace in war. Leo says there are 2 Philosopher's Stones in the human world. This surprises Echidna. They could leave one for the human world and one for the demon world to create peace. He asks her to look at him. She sees Leo in the armor of the new 5th general. He admits the situation was serious, so he removed his disguise. He apologizes for deceiving her. He says it was the only way to help because she wanted to test if she was worthy of the stone. After dinner and wine, he was convinced she was worthy. Peace in her world and demons stopping humanity justified giving her the 2nd stone. When she realizes Lord Onyx was Leo, she laughs, blushes, and after a few seconds goes into fury, attacking him. Later, the group walks through snowy mountains while Lily freezing because of the cold temperatures. Echidna judges Leo and asks if he is guiding them correctly or into a trap. He says they are going the right way and reminds her how much she has helped his army. They argue for a while. A memory shows Shutina after the queen calms down. The generals, Leo, and the queen are gathered. Leo explains why he acted as he did. Echidna is angry and ashamed and curses Leo. The generals defend him and tell the queen he helped them and should be considered for the army. She feels helpless but finally asks for the location of the other Philosopher's Stone. Leo says it is in the Sachet Mountains. This surprises her because it is close to the castle. He says it is protected by a powerful guardian, but it should not be a problem. This worries Echidna because if Leo calls it powerful, it must be dangerous, but she finally agrees. Back in the present, Lily suffers from the cold, while the others discuss the stone's location. Shutina casts a spell to stop Lily from freezing. Echidna angrily asks why Leo only took them halfway instead of directly there. Leo says he wanted time to talk because the Philosopher's Stone has been his project for a long time and soon it will be his. He reminds her that the stone is not a magic wish device. Once they have it, they must make peace with humanity and find the manual together or they will not know how to use it. They discuss how until recently, peace with humanity seemed impossible. They mention the story of unity from 3,000 years ago. Leo confirms it happened and that humans and demons can live in harmony. After more conversation, they playfully argue, throwing snowballs under the watchful eyes of the generals. Later, the queen asks why Leo knows so much about mechanical civilization from 3,000 years ago. He says he was born then. She is shocked and wonders if he used magic to extend his life, or if he is human. Leo explains that when Demon King Belial attacked humanity, biological weapons called the Demon Heart series were created. He is the 5th in that series. Their design focused on improving skills and copying every skill used against him so he could grow without limit. He is now the result of 3,000 years of experience and cannot die of old age. He only becomes stronger. She realizes this means he has the strength of hundreds of thousands of soldiers and why she could not defeat him. She is glad he joined their ranks. Leo explains all other weapons in his series died, so he is the only one left. From birth, a critical order was placed in his core to protect humanity, and that is his only identity. However, when there is peace, he wants war so he can be useful. Echidna is confused and thinks he should enjoy peace. Leo says his skill building caused his feelings to go out of control and he began to lose himself. He sometimes thinks he is holding humanity back and wonders if the world might work without a hero. She tells him without him the human world would already be under demon control. Leo says this time yes, but one day humanity might defeat the demon queen alone. When that day comes, he will no longer belong. He knows then he will go mad and cause chaos to have a reason to protect them again. Even if it means destroying the world, he would become a machine repeating this cycle, worse than any demon army. He asks Echidna if she knows what he will have to do before that. At that moment, Lily interrupts, happy to have reached the top. Myrnus realizes there is no guardian. Leo walks away from the group, then turns to face them. He reveals he himself has the Philosopher's Stone because it is the heart of the Demon Heart series, an infinite energy generator. He says this is the stone they seek. To obtain it, they must kill him because they would have to tear out his heart. This leaves everyone else in a shock, and he says there is no escape because if they flee, he will descend the mountain, kill every human, and destroy the texts explaining the stone. Shutina tries to approach, but he stops her with a spell at her feet, pushing her away. He reminds the queen she wanted to save the demon world, so this is the time to show courage. He draws his sword and attacks, declaring from now on they will be the heroes of the story. A flashback of Queen Echidna's childhood shows her talking to Bard about the hero. Bard explains that the hero is in charge of protecting humanity and is so powerful it gives him chills to speak of him. He continues, describing how the hero defeated the Chaos Lord Belial, the powerful sorcerer Lord Astaroth, and countless brave warriors of the demon army. He warns that if she ever becomes queen, she should not fight the hero, as it could lead to her death. The young demon queen confidently responds that she does not understand why he fears the hero so much if he is only a human. The bard adds that if she met him, she would simply be defeated. The only thing he does not know for sure is that she will become queen. The scene shifts back to the present, and Leo tells her that she once said she wanted to save the demon world, and that she would endure blood, sweat, and tears to obtain the stone and achieve peace. He then draws his sword and attacks the group. Edward struggles to stop him, and Leo delivers his final message. He says that if they want the stone and to save the world, they must become heroes and stop him here and now. These words surprise the four generals and the queen as they do not fully understand what he means. But without time to react, Leo appears in front of the queen, and the fight begins under the shocked gaze of her companions. After a brief exchange of blows, she asks if he has lost his mind. Leo knocks her to the ground and says he is sane. He explains that his job is to keep the world safe, and that is the only reason he lives, since he was created for that purpose. With a swing of his sword, he breaks a large rock, surprising Edward with his strength. Leo continues, saying that if he cannot save the world, he will lose his identity. Humanity might not need him, but he will force them to need him, creating the problem himself. He vows to save the world even if he must destroy it first. He attacks with an airwave aimed at Lily, who narrowly dodges. Echidna asks why he would destroy what he wants to protect. Leo smiles and says he has guarded the world for so long that no one should mind if he destroys it to continue protecting it. Saddened, his companions listen as Leo says starting over from scratch sounds appealing. He unleashes another airwave, knocking the queen back and jumping to strike her with his sword, but Edward blocks it, forcing Leo to retreat. Edward, deeply enraged, attacks Leo repeatedly, asking him to calm down. Shutina urges them not to fight. Leo becomes angrier, believing they do not understand him. He imbues his sword with magic and pushes Edward back. Shutina uses an obsidian sphere to try to trap Leo, but it is destroyed from within. A kick sends Edward flying into a rock. Leo glares at Shutina, telling her that if they want his heart, they must kill him and stop relying on spells. She asks why, if his heart is the Philosopher's Stone, he does not keep helping them as before. He reminds her that he never lied and asks if they were ever truly friends. He warns that if they do not kill him, they will die. He raises his hand and conjures luminous arrows. Shutina fires them, but Edward takes the hit to protect her. The arrows explode, and Leo attempts to attack Edward from behind, but Echidna intervenes, blocking him with her sword. Shutina begins to realize Leo truly intends to finish them. Meanwhile, the queen fights Leo, who says he is tired of everything. His hyper-reactive enhancement, his existence as the immortal guardian of humanity, and the curse of never being allowed to die. Even when they say they do not need him, his duty continues. He wonders who to hate, humans who created him or demons forced by them. Leo raises his hand, invoking thousands of arrows of light, and declares everyone his enemy. He aims to destroy both the human and demon worlds and end heroism once and for all. The generals and the queen use magical barriers to survive, but are exhausted. Echidna realizes Leo held back the first time they faced him and doubts if he is using his full strength. He considers using one last spell, knowing it is risky. Lily pleads with Leo to stop, reminding him of when he helped her in Largo. He decides to return the favor, telling her to speak her problems. He sheaths his sword, admitting his greatest problem is expecting too much from them and seeing them as weak. He conjures 2 arrows of light and shoots through Lily, surprising the rest. Echidna angrily attacks, calling him no hero for attacking the unarmed, but Leo blocks her. Shutina casts a lightning spell, which does not harm him, but Leo is pleased they are serious now. She realizes that to save her world, they must fight with all their strength. Edward slowly sits up, thanking Leo for his teachings and showing respect. Leo mocks him, asking if he now sees him as a villain. Edward says no, he acts as a friend. He releases his dragon blood, forming a scale armor and attacks with sword and fire. Leo stops the sword with one hand, casting spells of fire and ice simultaneously, destroying Edward's armor and throwing him against a rock wall. Echidna realizes they are facing an unstoppable monster. Myrnus moves Lily to safety, and Echidna returns with Shutina, who creates a stone cage around Leo. The queen attacks with infernal fire, but Leo easily breaks the rocks, leaving her exposed. She realizes his hyper-reactive enhancement not only strengthens him, but makes him more resistant after every attack. Leo advances, receiving a minor neck cut from Myrnus, who regrets failing to kill him. They confront him together. Myrnus asks if he wants to die, and Leo replies both. He claims he will destroy the world if no one stops him. Myrnus reminds him that he chose to help humanity instead, teaching efficiency and protecting lives. Leo tells him to be silent and insists he does not hate the world or humans. He attacks Myrnus but fails, laughing that his goal is to save the world even if he must destroy it. Lily returns, transformed into the wolf Fenrir, attempting to attack Leo. He blocks her and asks if she is ready to fight. She says she does not want to fight but wants to stop him first and tell him she loves him. Leo shows a small grimace at her words but dares her to try stopping him. She pounces but is knocked unconscious by a lightning spell. Seeing her friends defeated, Echidna asks Shutina for 42 seconds to cast her secret technique. Shutina hesitates but agrees. The queen begins channeling energy while a flashback shows her father teaching her a powerful spell passed down from Demon King to Demon King. They discuss Leo, noting that ancient Demon King Astero created the spell to be used only against him. The spell is expensive and has limits, and no Demon King has used it before. He admits it is an unsafe bet, but the queen, confident in her strength, says she does not need to fear him. Returning to the present, Shutina and Leo fight while the queen says he is a terrible liar, noting he could have killed Edward but chose not to. She claims the thing he hates and wants to destroy is himself, fearing a future where he cannot save the world. He plays the villain so they can defeat him while the Philosopher's Stone is safe, allowing humans and demons to unite after. Finally, he asks if this is the best he has done after 3,000 years of life. He punches the queen, sending her flying, and she finishes her spell just before he can cast a fatal one. A flashback shows her father warning that the spell will use all her mana to disable Leo temporarily, naming it Anti-Leo, as a powerful beam of light fires toward him. But when she focuses on Leo, she notices the word "thank you" on his lips, accompanied by a sad look. Meanwhile, a void surrounds Leo as he floats, repeating over and over that he must protect humanity and remembering that he is created with the sole order of saving. He realizes he is only wanted when needed, defeating powerful enemies and bringing peace. He celebrates this peace from the bottom of his heart, yet the more peace spreads, the less the world needs a hero. Little by little, he begins to lose his reason to exist until another conflict arises that gives him a purpose. Even 1,000 years, and his life flows endlessly. He travels the world in search of battle, fighting endlessly. Built to develop hyper abilities, each enemy he faces teaches him new techniques. Eventually, he finds no equal and becomes what the scientists who create him want: an unstoppable, immortal, biological weapon. Once again, a long peace arises. He sees two children buying bread and a happy saleswoman praying that peace will last. Leo realizes he should smile at her, but he knows he is forced to say "me too." Over time, he understands a part of him wants danger, so people need him and he has a reason to live. Slowly, he begins to go mad, feeling that saving the world is necessary to understanding what he is about to do. He destroys the facilities and bodies of his new enemies. He realizes he would destroy humanity for selfish reasons and that he is no longer a hero. The order to protect humanity continues to echo, and he understands he has become the greatest threat, capable of destroying the world to fulfill his desires. No demon king can be more evil than him. During a mission against the demonic army, Leo searches for someone worthy to inherit the Philosopher's Stone and finally relieve him of his role as hero. He cannot find anyone strong enough until he meets Queen Achille in any territory. Observing the queen and questioning her servants, Leo notices her unusual nature. She wants to improve the demon world, is just and honorable, and even leads her troops in battle while being kind to all her servants. After hearing about her character, Leo considers that she might be the successor he has been searching for, capable of bridging the human and demon realms. First, he defeats her army, including the 4 generals and the queen herself, exercising his role as a hero to eventually become useless to humans again. He begins to work with her to see if she can be trusted with his heart. Back in the present, Leo is causing bleeding from her nose and eyes. Leo cannot even lift a finger as all his abilities are blocked, returning him to the weak state in which he is created. Asel's name confuses her since it is devised hundreds of years ago by a demon king, and no human can live that long. But when Leo explains he is born during the mechanical age, the premonition becomes clear. Leo has lived over 3,000 years, the same hero who fights every demon king that exists. Throughout that time, he has no friends and no place to return to die in peace, living a solitary existence to protect humanity. He gives permission to Echidna to end his life, knowing that no one can do everything alone and that trusting others is essential to being a hero. His failure is due to his inability to trust anyone. After hundreds of thoughts pass between them, they realize all he wants is someone to accept him as he is, and not care if he is Leo or not. He also wants them to save him. One last thought passes through Leo's mind. He is happy to have chosen them as his last companions. He regrets that he cannot work with them more, understanding that death is necessary. Queen Echidna gives the order to the time, inflicting mortal wounds. Leo smiles one last time before falling to the ground, followed by a loud and heartbreaking scream of Echidna. After receiving the powerful attack that ended the battle, Leo opens his eyes, lying on the ground with a large wound in his chest exposing his core. He smiles, realizing that he is finally lost. He says he feels very good. The four generals and Echidna approach him slowly, also injured from the intensity of the fight. Seeing him in that state, Lily tries to move closer out of concern, but Myrnes stops her by grabbing her shoulder. The Demon Queen asks Leo if he truly enjoyed pretending to be the villain, to which he replies, yes, saying he always wanted to try changing roles. Echidna asks why he held back, why he let them launch their final attack without dodging. Leo answers that he did not want to avoid it since they were losing. Shutina reproaches him, claiming he planned to be defeated from the start, which angers the Demon Queen because his plan almost killed all five of them. Leo reflects on the moment he made these plans. Remembering his response when asked why he joined the army, he tells her that his core now belongs to them and that he used an emergency override to isolate himself from the stone's energy. This allows them to remove it safely, but they have only 300 seconds to do it. Myrnes asks if they should take it out, and Leo confirms, saying it is like unscrewing the cap of a bauble. Myrnes moves to retrieve the Philosopher's Stone, but Lily stops him, begging him not to kill Leo. He makes the same plea to the Demon Queen. Edward holds Lily back, urging her not to act, recklessly since the Queen is unwell. The little beast girl bursts into tears from helplessness. Meanwhile, Echidna observes Leo smiling, realizing that he has protected humanity until the end. He never intended to harm anyone or destroy their worlds, and he willingly sacrificed himself to bring peace. Despite his actions, he is truly a hero. Suddenly, Leo reminds them that only 270 seconds remain. The Queen asks if he has regrets. He replies that someone will take up his work, and the demon army will operate efficiently. Since everything is in order, he has no regrets. Lily struggles in Edward's arms, kicking while crying, but Myrnes stops her firmly, making her understand the seriousness of the situation. She cries even harder. Echidna considers that the demonic world needs the Philosopher's Stone. Leo apologizes for all the troubles. Shutina and the Queen nod in agreement. Echidna kneels beside Leo, and he says that 240 seconds remain, saying goodbye to himself, the generals, and the Demon Queen. He expresses gratitude for having met them. Echidna gently slaps him, steps on his body, and tells him she has changed her mind about making peace with the human world. She continues stepping on him, claiming she has forgotten who she is. She reminds him that she is the Demon Queen, the great Echidna, and has no time for his concerns. She declares that he should be happy because she will officially have him among her ranks. Seeing that he has lived 3,000 years and possesses the Philosopher's Stone, she says there is no one better suited for the role. Leo worries about the time, but she asks Edward to reason with her. Realizing that reasoning is impossible, she asks Edward to remove the stone. He laughs, agreeing with Echidna, saying he should not give up because he wants to learn from Leo and losing him would be a great loss. He asks if there is anyone better to unite the worlds than a man who has lived over 3,000 years. Lily asks why Leo tried to end it all alone. He asks why she did not seek help from friends as he had taught her. She shakes her head and cries on his face, calling herself foolish and unable to understand why he wanted to die. She tells him she will always listen and begs him not to die. Leo turns to Myrnes, trusting that he can handle the situation calmly. He reminds him that only 140 seconds remain and urges him not to let emotions control him. Myrnes kicks Leo in the shoulder, striking repeatedly, telling him he does not need to listen but only to fight. His actions reveal that Leo wants to live. He yells that if he wants to live, he should do so, reminding Leo that he taught them to make decisions they will not regret. Yet Leo is being hypocritical by dying full of regrets. Leo asks Shutina if he understands the contradiction in his words. She questions the real reason he wants to die. He admits it is to protect humanity, as all in his series are imbued with that order. Thought masking erases any rebellious thoughts before they develop. Despite disabling that order with his ego, he cannot maintain his identity without protecting humanity. If he does not act, humanity will be in danger. Shutina tells him that by logic, his ego should allow him to deactivate the order. He resists, but she forces him to try. He dives into his subconscious, an empty place echoing the phrase "protect humanity," which he now questions after following it for over 3,000 years. Hesitant, he focuses and silences the voice completely. In the real world, he wonders if he has truly turned it off and reflects on all the years trapped by orders. Echidna tells him that only 30 seconds remain and asks if he truly wants to end his life. This reminds him of Ibrad, who said the same 3,000 years ago. She tells him not to waste the opportunity to live. Leo cries, realizing a new life has opened before him. His chest wound slowly closes, and he sees the Demon Queen offering her hand, welcoming him among her ranks. He shakes her hand, finally ending his 3,000 years of endless loneliness. Lily cries with joy and hugs him while the generals smile. A few days later, Leo walks through the castle, performing daily tasks like replenishing mana, managing troops, checking the kitchen, and inspecting the armory. He reaches the main hall to find his friends asleep after the banquet, surprising him at their calmness. Echidna is awake and agrees that it is natural after sharing wine with Leo. They discuss his deception, and the Demon Queen remarks that from the day of his interview, it was not he being tested, but the army. She asks again if he has regrets since this was his only chance to die. Leo answers he has none and wants to help her bring peace to both worlds and create a peaceful demonic realm. He promises to never play the villain again and help the queen be the kind ruler she truly is. They laugh and shake hands, agreeing it is a pleasure to work together. General Edward's daughter enters, misinterpreting the situation, but it is clarified. She reports a wyvern mutiny, so Edward is sent to handle it. A goblin reports a delay in elixir management, so Lily leaves. Dianette reports a library tome causing chaos, so Shutina goes to deal with it. The cook asks Merness for help in the dining hall. People continue to arrive with tasks and commands. Leo smiles, reminding himself he will do everything he can to help. Happy in his new life, he reflects on his story. A biological weapon created 3,000 years ago, now free from his former orders, moving forward with companions and friends he can trust, finally leaving heroism behind. Thanks for watching our videos. If you liked the video, make sure to subscribe to the channel for more anime recaps.